Hello, Sunshines, and welcome to deValiante Plays Dates and Wires by IO Black and Cryo. The year is 1995, and you're newly single, ready to mingle, and fresh off the plane in Stradania, the dysfunctional micronation whose chief exports are pig iron, human misery, and radioactive souvenir mugs. If you want to see more games like this from this channel, drop a like and a follow, and tell me in the comments what you want to see me play next. Warning! This video contains strong language and imagery that some may find disturbing. Discretion is advised. Now, without further ado, let's get started. If you hear all the dogs going insane in the background, that is because they are. My brother and sister-in-law are going away for the weekend, so that means I have all 5 dogs to myself. That may or may not be a good thing, but we'll see. I'm gonna get through as much of this as I can, because I want this to be like done in one playthrough, but you know, we'll see. Start, damn it. Stradania, sometime in 1995. State your first name for the record, please. Sounds like the agent's on a short fuse today. I better hurry up and answer him. Type your character's name and hit enter. It's always gonna be Diva. After 8 hours crammed in economy class, all I really wanted was a warm shower, a cool drink, and a hot guy to spend the evening with. I never want that. But first I had to get through customs, and that meant getting the 3rd degree from a scary-looking official with a massive list of questions. Are you entering this country on business or pleasure? Oh, definitely pleasure. I give the custom agents a coy wink. His face scrunches up in response. Same, bestie. Guess they don't hire these guys for their sense of humor. Clicking his tongue, he looks back at my paperwork. Are you bringing any of the following items into the country? Radioactive or biohazardous materials not pre-registered for processing at a certified disposal site, organs for human transplantation, natural or artificial, self-aware, digital pets, cigarettes containing more than 25 milligrams of nicotine, counterfeit currency, CD-ROMs, or other media harmful to the economic or political welfare of the Stradanian public or the physical, spiritual, and mental health of the citizens. 30 minutes and many questions later. And finally, by signing this document, you legally agree to hold the Stradanian government innocent from any injury, loss of life, or property incurred during your stay here. I quickly sign on the line. The agent points to anything to get out of here. When my friends first suggested a vacation here to Stradania, I wasn't sure how to react. You do some weird stuff to get over a bad breakup, sure, but running off to an ex-Soviet republic that 9/10 of the unknown world won't even recognize as a country? The smart call would have been to find somewhere with warm weather, nice beaches, and most importantly, bottomless rainbow-colored rum drinks. Instead, I'm here in Unislik, a city whose biggest tourist attractions include a pig iron museum and guided tours through a multi-acre garbage dump. Hazmat suits extra. On the upside, the tickets were dirt cheap, and I'm far enough away from home that I don't really have to worry about what others think. Instead, I can focus on the one thing that really matters. Me. Relaxing, having fun, remembering how to live a little. And if that means a few no-strings-attached flings with some of the local hunks, all the better. Like my ankle tattoo says, no regrets. Oh, no, it does say no regrets. No regrets. So I fire up my translation filters, flag down a cab, and get ready for an unforgettable night on the town. Forget fancy architecture or big historic sites. Every building I see on the drive is an almost identical block of depressing concrete that looks like it collapsed. It collapsed in a stiff breeze. But that's the point, supposedly. Everything here's so grim, run down, and miserable that your own life feels like a bed of roses by comparison. At least, that's what my friends claimed. And I'm still not sure this whole setup isn't just one giant elaborate prank. After stopping by my hotel to check in and stow my luggage, I head out to my first stop of the evening, a club called the Icebox. It looks like a nuclear facility of some kind. All the travel guides I read say it's the biggest and best night spot in town. Not that there was much competition. Word also has it that this is where the city's big Borg scene comes out to play. A kind of hip place where nearly anything can happen after a cocktail or two. The building in front of me now, though, not hip or happening. Between those huge storage tanks and the weird pipes leaking gas everywhere, it looks more like a factory than a club. But there's a decent crowd gathered by the entrance, chatting and sharing oily-smelling cigarettes. And I can hear the faint boom of dance music through the doors. I can't talk to smokers, so let's go check out the building. Oh, you know what I should do? Bring out my dice. Because I have a feeling that I'm going to have to make decisions. As much as I'm trying, I can't get over the size of the icebox. Or the fact that most of the industrial equipment around the sides and back still seems like to be running. Going by the travel guides, repurposed buildings aren't that uncommon in Udislik. In fact, most of the biggest ones in town are leftovers from when the place was still a labor camp. But there's no way a nightclub would need this much machinery, right? Not unless they're keeping all their booze in those tanks. In which case, damn. The thought of that's miles more interesting than what I actually seen as I wander around the building. Pipes, concrete, pipes, and a few grated windows set low to the ground. Weird. I could swear I heard a dog just now. Should we investigate? That does sound like something. Yeah, investigate the noise. After everything I've read about stray dogs in Udislik on the plane ride over, investigating this might not be the smartest idea. On the other hand, the bark sounded pretty harmless, and just a little scared. The least I can do is make sure it isn't somebody's lost pet. The sound came from somewhere around the largest of the storage tanks. That's a puppy. Sure enough, there's a dog lurking by the pipes, and a pretty cute one at that. At first glance, I'm guessing it's a Pomeranian. What's it doing here, though? And what's with those weird metal pieces? Hi there. Are you lost? The dog shrinks back and I get closer. Looks like it's got a bad case of stranger danger. Hey, it's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. But before I can get any closer, the little dog scampers into an open vent. I peer down the opening, but it's too dark to see anything and too narrow for me to follow. Oh, I hope it's going to be okay. I try to put the Pomeranian out of my mind and work my way back towards the club's main entrance. The front door is covered by a bouncer, a tough-looking woman with a pitch-black mohawk and an elaborate dragon tattoo wrapped around her left arm. Thankfully, she only gives me a quick once-over before waving me through. Guess they don't really worry too much about IDs here. Pushing through the front doors, I enter the icebox, ready for my first taste of Udislik nightlife. Because I can read. Okay. Which turns out to be an unexpected blast of cold smacking me in the face as soon as the door swung open. There's a sharp chill running through the entire club, just a little too intense to be comfortable. Guess that explains the name. Not that anybody else seems to mind. The dance floor is packed with locals and tourists happily swaying away to the pulse of the music. But the temperature's not the only thing that feels off. The walls of the icebox are lined with frosted-over glass tanks, all filled up with weird, gooey blue liquid. And each tank has a life-size mannequin bobbing around inside it, just barely visible through the blue sludge. Are we sure they're mannequins? At least, I hope they're mannequins, because they're awfully realistic for a piece of bar decor. Nice as it is to see actual color in Udislik, if they were aiming for a cool sci-fi vibe, they missed by a mile. The whole setup is just creepy. Did that mannequin just wink at me? I quickly step away and hustle over the bar area, hoping a bit of alcohol will set me straight. Never. I'm greeted by a handsome man in a strange, rubbery protective suit. They're really pulling out the stops with this theming. Howdy, Pilgrim. What's your pleasure? Glancing over the drinks menu, I'm confronted by a sea of cocktails with names I've never heard of. Fortunately, the bartender seems to sense my uncertainty. First time in the icebox? First time in the country. I just got off the plane a few hours ago. The bartender nods knowingly and reaches for a bottle from below the counter. Then let's get your visit off to a proper start. He begins mixing ingredients, half humming to himself as he moves from one bottle to the next. Finally, he slides a glass over to me. I call this one the login screen. My own recipe. Don't worry, it's on the house. I take the glass and sip. I can't place the flavors, but it's sweet and strong, and before I know it, I've got a good buzz going on. I relax a little, checking out the various liquids lined up on the bar shelves, well, mainly to stop my attention from drifting back to those freaky tanks. Wait, in the cooler, is that? Yes. So, what brings you here tonight? The sudden question jolts me back to the here and now. I was hoping to meet some guys, maybe let loose a little. Well, you come to the right place, especially since we banned Vlad from the premises. Vlad? Who's Vlad? The bartender's expression darkens. Believe me, there's some questions in your life you're better off not knowing the answer to. So, looking for any type of man in particular? I might know a few of our regulars who could fit the bill. Good question. After all, half the fun of a vacation fling is trying something new, right? I scan the rest of the club, seeing if anybody catches my eye. There's 6 options. We're gonna roll a d6, and we get a 1. The thin blonde reading a book. Where are other options? The stern-looking guy with a vest and sunglasses. The cocky-looking guy with a flowing pink hair. The hunted-looking looking man with glasses and ponytail. A buffed-up fashionista with expensive clothes. Actually, I think I'm good for now. But, the dice has spoken. Oh, good. Skinny puppy. I don't know. I nod towards a handsome-looking blonde sitting off to one side. He probably just wants to be left alone. He's thin. Model thin, even. And has kind of a distant look to him. Definitely wants to be left alone. What? Dan? Fancying himself a bit of a philosopher. Not exactly my idea of a good time, but if you got a soft spot for lost causes, he's your guy. Okay. I guess we're just gonna be going down the list. How about the guy with the sunglasses in the far corner? Max Tracks, right? Oh, you mean the fixer. Tough customer. Your best bet is to avoid mentioning anything relating to VR, music, tech, data tape, or, on second thought, probably best to avoid him altogether. The cocky-looking guy with the flowing pink hair. I hate him already. Tell me about pink hair on the other side of the dance floor there. Ah, shit parade. Wow. Not a bad guy as such, but he's addicted to getting a rise out of people. Most find him a bit much to handle. Just looking at him is a bit much to handle, quite honestly. The hunted-looking guy. Oh. What's up with the intense-looking one with the specs? They call him the Sandman. Kind of a closed book, that one. I know he's some type of hacker, but not much more than that. He's not really the club sort, so I'm guessing he's only here for business. Don't expect too much for him. He's the one with the dog. And the buffed up fashionista. Okay. Hey, the cut cyborg with the fancy tech wear. What's his story? Number KOOIs? 001s? His handle. Him and his crew, show up here about once a week. Takes his fashion a little too seriously, but at least he tips from time to time. Actually, I'm good for now. I think I'm good for now. You sure? There's a couple of nice guys who usually hang around the back. Thanks. thanks, but I'm all set. Well, you're the boss. I'm Jack, by the way. Come back and see me if you need a refill or advice. Will do. After finishing off my login screen, I head back out to the dance floor, ready to mingle. I take a minute to check out the crowd, trying to find my opening. Everyone's talking and laughing in little groups and having a great time by the looks of it. So I move from conversation to conversation, keeping an ear out for one that I actually butt into. But no luck here. It's all football, local politics, and where to score the cheapest hit. 10 minutes of aimless wandering. The only thing I've managed to do is make myself feel even more lost and out of place. Maybe I should just cut to the chase and approach one of the guys I was looking at with Jack earlier. But which one? Shit parade. Alright, who's being a dick? Alright, nobody. Alright. Please not shit parade, I swear to God. Oh, okay, Fixer. Which one? Fixer was the dude. Yeah. The dark-haired guy in the corner has spent the entire time I've been here sipping the same can of beer and staring down the crowd on the floor. He's not quite my type, but I admit that there's something about that cool, tough facade that he's got my attention. For a start, he's wearing sunglasses after dark. He could have glaucoma. And that vest, and the spiky hair. His whole getup screams biker or rocker or whatever he is. I get the feeling I'm not going to get far by approaching him directly. So instead, I casually saunter up to his table, figuring I'll just wait for him to notice me, and as soon as I catch his eye, he can see me, right? He can't just be deliberately ignoring me. Well, maybe he's blind. I mean, hello, I'm right here. Okay, fine. I clear my throat. What? The question comes out as a kind of a low growl. I pull myself together and flash him a smile. Just wondering, is the seat taken? The man gives me a sour up and down look. I guess he's not blind. What's it to you? Wow, he's really working that bad boy energy. It's just, I saw you sitting by yourself and thought you might like some company? Or to be left alone? The scowl flickers for a second. Sure, I guess. From what I've seen so far, that might be the best invitation I'm going to get. I settle down across from him. Thanks, my name's Diva. Silence. Dead silence. Finally, after a few awkward moments, he relents. People call me the Fixer. The Fixer? That almost makes you sound like some kind of mafia hitman or something. Oh, wait, you're not actually a mafia hitman, are you? Because if you are, don't be ridiculous. I run a VCR repair shop. VCR repair? Come on. That's gotta be a cover for some kind of super illegal operation, right? I get the feeling I'd better not poke at the topic too much. Time to switch gears. So, come here often? This place? Not a chance. I've got better things to do than spend my free time hanging around tech-wear kitties, wannabes, and drugged-up trash tourists trying to get their rocks off. Yikes. This conversation is going downhill fast. Then what are you doing here, then? Business. I almost asked what kind of business, but the last thing I want to do is get myself involved in some weird local underworld type deal. Switch gears. Did you have anything else planned tonight? Anything that isn't business, I mean? I don't see how that's any of your concern. Maybe I'm coming on a bit too strong. Let's try a different approach. Sorry, I just thought you might be interested in hitting town later. I'm new here and was just kind of hoping to find a guy who wouldn't mind showing me the sights. Look, not for nothing, but I don't even know you, okay? But you could. Alright, D4 evens is but you could, and odds are I can tell when I'm not wanted. please the odds, because I want to move on from this conversation. Yes! There's gotta be an easier way of getting a date around here. Fine. You win. Have fun with all that business of yours. Unbelievable. What crawled up his ass? You! He wanted to be left alone. I make my way back over to the bar in a sour mood. At least things can only get better from here. Oof. Alright, if we get 6, we roll again. 4 is... number cool, maybe? I don't know. Confession time. I've never dated a full-on board before, but there's always been something kind of exciting about the idea. So when I read about the icebox and the Stradanian cyborg scene, I figured, why not? What's a post-breakup vacation for if you can't let yourself get at least a little wild? But so far, the only guy who's jumped out at me is the flashy raver type in the fancy designer threads from earlier, and he's nowhere to be seen. The other cyborgs on the floor, at least the obvious ones, might as well not be there at all. Save for the odd piercing here and there, everybody just looks so normal. Boring, even. I'm beginning to get the feeling a travel guide sold me a bill of goods. So I aimlessly wander through the bar, the dance floor, the chill-out rooms. I'm just about to give up when a familiar red mohawk and glowing cyber arm sweeps past me. I only catch the barest glimpse of my guy before he disappears behind a roped-off and curtained entrance. The sign next to it reads, Private Function, VIPs only. VIPs, huh? Despite the sign, I don't see any bouncers on guard. Intrigued, I step over the rope barrier and I poke my nose in. Oh, it's a hookah bar. Unlike the rest of the club, the VIP lounge is built for intimacy, with cushy seats, mood lighting, and plenty of space and smoke. Smoke that tastes like popcorn and soap. Gross! It doesn't take long to find its source, either. I gotta come up with, like, a weird-ass name for you, because number K001 is... I'm gonna call you No Cool. How's that? And his buddies are huddled in a corner, taking turns on a giant glowing hookah. All of them are impeccably dressed with carefully coordinated outfits. I suddenly feel like an awkward teenager approaching the pool table in a high school again. Then don't. No Cool looks up at me and grimaces. He takes a final puff from the hookah and then sets it down, walking towards me with extremely visible annoyance. Hey, you lost or something? It's VIPs only in here? Well, time to wing it and let Jack's drinks do their magic. Well, who's to say I'm not a VIP? He scoffs. In that outfit? Not likely. I know he doesn't mean that. Really? No, he's just putting me down to make me want his approval. The oldest trick in the book. And after the grilling I endured from Fixer, I'm done wasting my time trying to impress random strangers. Time to walk away, and... He wants to play, let's play. Alright. Evens. He wants to play, let's play. Odds. Nope, just gonna walk. Evens, because you hate me. I wasn't gonna say anything, but I'm actually a journalist. Yeah, from Device magazine. Great. Thanks, Brain. He'd totally be wowed by me name-dropping the only tech magazine I can remember from the airport newsstand. No Cool raises an eyebrow. Device, huh? The US mag? The one and only. I'm here doing a piece on cyberculture in other countries. That actually seems to have piqued his interest. Guess it's time to go all in. We've heard so much about the Stradania cyborgs that I figured I'd go straight to the source and talk to the trendsetters in the community. Would you consider yourself a trendsetter? You certainly look like it. Duh. I practically invented cyberculture here in Stradania. Really? This must be my lucky day. You bet. It's a good thing you came to me first. I'm No Cool, by the way. That's Cool with 2 zeros. Nice to meet you, No Cool. I'm Diva. So, does this mean I can join you in the VIP room? No Cool smirks. Sure. Well, actually... He looks back at his fellow VIPers and hesitates for a second. Actually, I'll do you one better. He leads me through the VIP section to a solid-looking door which opens into a dungeon with a ball pit. This here is our super VIP room. Great for one-on-ones. What about your friends? No need to involve them. I know all there is to know about the latest trends. They'll just parrot whatever I say anyway. I look around. The super VIP room is very cozy indeed. In fact, it's just a love seat, a couple of lava lamps, and a ball pit for some reason. On closer inspection, I also can't help but notice the cracked tiled walls and what looks like the remnants of plumbing. Was this place a bathroom? Probably. Well, that doesn't really matter. What matters is that I got No Cool's attention. I'll be back in a second. Let me just get some drinks, yeah? Looks like I spoke too soon. He takes off before I even process what's happening. I still have a drink in hand, but hey, I certainly won't say no to a free refill. Some time passes. No Cool finally comes back with 3 Toyota Sunsets in hand. He quickly hands me one and immediately ducks out again. I sigh and settle in on the left seat, sipping my replacement drink. Guess that's what I get for trying to hang out with a popular crowd. Another 10 minutes pass. I'm starting to get flashbacks to my prom night here. Maybe I should go see what's taking him. Alright, even good things come to those who wait. Odds, better check it out. 2. I decide to stay put. For all I know, he went to hit the actual bathroom. Sure enough, No Cool comes back a few minutes later, this time with just a single cocktail in hand. Before I can start wondering what happened the other sunrise, he settled down next to me. Hey, sorry about the wait. Plebs keep begging me for pics every time I walk in the main room. Jack really needs to give us our own VIP bar already. No worries. Shall we get started? Since I don't have a proper notebook, I pull out my planner and a spare ballpoint, hoping I can find a page that's not already filled with recipes, memos, or doodles. Pen and paper. Damn, you're old school. You're not going to record me? Good point. Yes, of course. I was just about to. Voice recorder. I dig through my bag and take out my cassette player. It doesn't record, of course, but it looks like it could. I put it on the coffee table and press play. With that out of the way, I start my interview. Over the next 5 minutes, I learn that he's a senior operator at Digital Serenity, the most groundbreaking VR salon in the country, but his real dream is to become a model. He coordinates outfits for all of his friends and started getting into serious weight training after he was mugged for his shoes back in high school. Sensing an opening, I then ask him about his favorite clothes and regret it almost immediately. What follows is a half-hour rant about streetwear, tactical sock brands, initialism's latest drop, and why his computer job demands the most technologically advanced pants money can buy. Entirely too many minutes later. And any sneakers under 500,000 aren't worth my time. If you're not willing to put some effort into your looks, are you even a true cyberpunk? You know what they say, you are what you wear. I think it's you are what you eat. No Cool perks up. Hey, thanks for reminding me. It's nearly time for me to get my neutral life on. And with that, he leaves the room yet again. Good Christ. On his return, he's toting a tall shaker of nondescript gray-white sludge. Did he suddenly decide to regrout the tiles in here? What's that? Nutrilife, the complete meal replacement system of the future. No chewing, no cooking, no groceries, except Nutrilife itself. Sounds pretty depressing, but I don't want to blow my cover now, so I just do my best to seem impressed as New Cool settles down next to me to show off his shake in its blobby glory. Wow, now this is cyberpunk. Damn straight. Want to try some? Absolutely not. I look at the pale, gooey substance congealing in the shaker, which smells a bit like oatmeal and clay? Chalk? Sawdust, perhaps? And decide that while I really do want to get on New Cool's good side, you've got to draw the line somewhere. Thanks, but I'm already kind of full. You sure? I'm the biggest Nutrilife distributor in Unislik. You know. Oh, is this your business? And just like that, the cool standoffish attitude suddenly drops away. Yeah, I like the product so much I started selling it myself. Just trying to diversify my income, you know. He sounds like he's genuinely trying to impress me. And who am I to discourage him? That's amazing. Not many guys your age would have that kind of drive. I've always thought about starting a business, but it seems so daunting. Oh, he's trying to sell you on a multi-level marketing scam. You just need to believe in the product, and the stuff pretty much sells itself. And the best part is you can recruit yeah, this is definitely an MLM. You can recruit others to sell and get commissions from their sales, and their recruit sales. Trust me, we're gonna revolutionize the whole goddamn market with this. I hadn't figured him for an entrepreneurial type. It's nice to see his enthusiasm, but I also really want him to put the weird crud away and move on to something else. I bet you will, though as much as I love talking business with you, what our readers would really love to know about you is your private life. Are you single? Got anyone special in your life? He hesitates for a second before firmly shaking his head. Nope, single and available. So, any of you American ladies reading this, feel free to send a picture and your measurements. I'll give you an email. You can post emails, right? Sure. I don't see why not. Okay, so he is available, which is great news, except I can't really do much with that information as long as I'm still playing pretend journalist. Maybe it's time to drop the act and tell him I'm who I really am. Let's see. Evens odds. We're gonna come clean. Look, no cool. There's something you should know. What's that? I'm not really a journalist. I just wanted to get to know you, and you seem kind of hard to approach, so I came up with this whole cover story as an excuse. And now I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. God, this is so awkward. My cheeks are practically glowing red. I start stuffing my voice recorder and notebook back into my bag, ready to make a fast exit once the yelling starts. But to my surprise, No Cool seems anything but angry. In fact, he seems kind of happy. Seriously? Yeah. My first stalker. Nice. I knew it was going to happen eventually, but... Well, I wouldn't exactly call it stalking. Before I can mount an actual defense, the door opens and one of the No Cool's posse thunders in, a tall, silver-haired girl in an outfit that matches No Cool's perfectly. She looks beyond pissed. What the hell's going on in here? She turns to No Cool, whose voice practically shaking with fury. You seriously think you can get away with two-timing me? In the same club? How dumb do you think I am? Two-timing? So that must be his... It's not my fault, babe. Diva here was making this big show out of being a journalist. So I figured I'd play along. Look, I was doing this for us, okay? You've always wanted to be in a magazine, right? Then why did you separate me from your friends and tell me you're single? You said what? Ugh. She storms out before either of us can speak up. I give No Cool a withering glare, then run out after her. I eventually find the girl outside by the vent, smoking and trying to calm herself down. Hey, just leave me alone, okay? You've done enough. I just wanted to say sorry. I didn't know you were a couple. Can I at least buy you a drink? You don't have to talk to me or anything. I just want to make it up to you. Fine. We go back in, straight to the main bar this time. Jack clearly senses what's up because he's got the first cocktail ready to go before I even open my mouth. In the end, I definitely wind up buying her more than one drink. And then we talk. A lot. As it turns out, the girl, Dreamspace, works at the same VR salon as No Cool. And despite No Cool's claims to be to the contrary, it's not groundbreaking at all. All they do is repackage trips ripped off from independent operators. But every time she wants to try her own thing, their boss tells her to stop wasting time. After all, it's quicker to serve clients by loading up a ready-made canned trip. At least they had a steady paycheck going, unlike most indies. Until someone started crashing their servers on a daily basis. Now their branch is on the verge of going under. So No Cool bought 50 crates of Nutrilite from a shady overseas outfit as a contingency measure. So far, he's sold 0. Not even his parents would touch the stuff. Now he's starting to put pressure on his posse to become part of his upline, Dreamspace included. To say it had a strain on the relationship is putting it mildly. And now, on top of everything else, some random tourist shows up and tries to steal her boyfriend. Not knowingly, but hearing Dreamspace talk really puts me in a situation into perspective. Everybody here seems to be having a hard time. Well, my biggest problem is not getting laid. Eventually, she finishes off her last Cisco Sour and pulls herself up with a world-weary sigh. I should probably head home. We're going to have a long talk in the morning. Sounds like it. Sorry again, by the way. It's fine. You didn't know any better. And this wasn't so bad. It's been a while since I had a chance to talk to somebody. Like, actually talk, you know? Good night, Diva. Alright, so he's off the table. Well, that sure was an experience. I guess it's time to try to my luck somewhere else. Ugh. Okay. Screw it. Okay, I'm gonna roll again. 3. Sandman. I probably should say. Shut up! The ponytailed guy hanging around the back entrance seemed to be the only person in the club who wasn't dressed to impress. With his dorky and slightly worn sweater, glasses, and button-up shirt, I was immediately reminded of my international relations professor back in college. Then again, I did always have a little bit of a crush on the prof. What made me stop, though, was the intensity of his look. When I first spotted him, he was working on a sleek palm-top computer, staring at his screen with so aggressively that I half expected lasers to start shooting out of his eyes. For a second, I imagined what it would be like to have him look at me like that instead. Sweater or no sweater, the image was incredibly appealing. Except the spot he was sitting at was empty now, and I have no idea where he went. For all I know, he might have gone home already. He didn't really seem like the party all night type. Oh well, may as well head back to the bar and... Apologies, did not see you. There he is. No problem, I was actually on my way to come by and say hi, but sorry, no time. The way he's scanning the club makes it clear he's looking for something, and judging by how on edge he's acting, it's gotta be important. Did you lose something? Maybe I can help. Maybe. There's this weird quality to the way he speaks, too. Like he's trying to figure out how to get his point across while saying as little as possible. I'm definitely not your average kind of guy, but since the last average guy I dated wound up sleeping with my personal trainer, maybe that's not a bad thing. What are you looking for? A dog. Small, white coat, answers to venereal disease. Must have slipped out of her bag earlier. Wow, what are the odds? Then it's your lucky night. I spotted a dog outside the club a little while back. She ran down an event before I could catch her, though. Chances are pretty good she's still in there? Unsurprising. She's skittish. Doesn't tolerate the equipment here. I can't say I blame her. Let's go find Vanera. Did you want me to show you where she was hiding? It'd be appreciated. We round the club to the area where I last spotted the little Pomeranian. Sandman approaches the vent and pulls out a little bag of doggy treats. Shut up! Placing a few into the vent before whistling softly. For a long minute, nothing happens. Then there's a skitter of claws on metal as Vanera pops back out of the opening. Spotting Sandman, she lets out a cheery yip and drops down. Sandman lets her crunch on the treat a little before he scoops her up and drops her into his messenger bag. I guess Pomeranians are small enough to do that. Now that I'm looking at his doggy up close, I can't help but notice the giant antenna sticking out of her skull. Her fur's matted down with some kind of liquid, too. That poor Pooch must have really gotten herself into something. Is she all right? The implants came with him, unfortunately. He zips up his bag, taking care to leave enough room for Vanera to stick her head out. Thanks for assisting. Good evening. Wait a second. I've been handed a golden opportunity to get to know Sandman a little better. I'm not going to let him go off that easily just yet. I've had some experience treating animals. Why don't I come with you and make sure your pup's okay? Her fur's a mess, and it is pretty cold out here. Technically, I'm not lying this time. I've spent enough hours at my sister's dog grooming salon to pick up a trick or two, even if those tricks are more focused on coat care. But Sandman doesn't need to know that, does he? He gives me a calculating look, one that lasts a few seconds longer than comfortable. Finally, he nods. Fine. Come now. As I turn to follow Sandman, I notice two other dogs peeking out around the club's dumpster. Both are equipped with camera eyes, and both are staring directly at me. Shivering, I hurry to catch up. The walk from the icebox is mostly silent. It's quickly clear that Sandman isn't really keen on conversation, and most of my small talk goes unanswered. Eventually we reach a tunnel going by the flaking paint and rust-speckled warning signs. It's been abandoned for a while. But that's pretty cool. Like the carvings in the wall. This way. I have to keep myself telling myself that this will make a great story for when I get back, because every rational instinct I still have is yelling at me to get the hell out now. And the further we go, the creepier the ambiance becomes. Lights flicker and die, and I swear I can hear rats skittering around into the distance. Sandman seems unfazed, though. Wherever we're going, it's pretty clear he's come this way many, many times before. Here. Finally, after what feels like an absolute eternity of wandering, Sandman stops at a battered service door and taps out a combination on a keypad I've sworn was broken. The door swings open with a groan, revealing even more darkness with a tiny bit of green glow from a row of old computer screens to break it up. 1 second. He hits a switch, bringing up some fluorescence overhead. With the benefit of proper lighting, I finally have a chance to take in my surroundings. I once dated a PhD student who lived in a rat trap basement apartment with no windows. Excuse me. And built most of his furniture out of milk crates. This is something else entirely. Computers aside, most of the space seems to be taken up by kennels, with enough space for a dozen dogs or so. Kind of a unusual place you've got here. A means to an end. Sandman sets his bag down and lets Vanera out. There's a few other dogs lurking in the darker corners of the room, a mix of breeds and sizes whose only common feature is the cybernetic widgets they're sporting. A few of them poke their heads out to stare at me. There's an intelligence in their expressions that sends a little shiver through me. So it's just you and the dogs down here? Oh, please stop it. Mostly. Sandman gives me an expectant look. It takes me a second before I remember my promise from the icebox. Oh, right. I was going to give Vanera a quick checkup, wasn't I? Sorry, I got a little distracted. The little Pomeranian settles in front of us, kneeling down. I kneel down, hoping I look at least somewhat professional in the face of the Sandman's scrutiny. The tiny, sensible part of me is begging me not to overplay my hand here, but sometimes you have to take a chance, right? So, check the antenna, try to get some of the gunk off her fur. I would say the gunk off of her fur, because that's why you're here. We should probably try to get some of this liquid off. God only knows what kind of crud she's got into. Do you have any shampoo? To my surprise, Sandman immediately pulls a bottle from a nearby box. My implant's struggling with the Russian, but it sees the words for glossy coat on there. I dutifully pour some out and start massaging it into Sandman, while Sandman goes off to collect a water pail. I have to write my sister a thank you after all of this is over. Instead of dog fur and pudge, however, my fingers keep pressing into something far more hard and metallic, eventually provoking a whimper from Vanera. I carefully pull my hand away. This definitely wasn't something the pampered pup salon equipped me to deal with. Sandman seems to notice my confusion. Implants, monitoring equipment mostly. Why would you install monitoring equipment on a dog? Again, previous owners. I sense the slightest tinge of anger in Sandman's voice. From everything I've seen so far, he's very protective of Vanera. The upside is that I now have an easy out for my bluff. I don't really have a lot of experience with, cyber dogs. Sorry. Understandable. He quietly washes the rest of the shampoo out, then nods at Vanera. The Pomeranian promptly scampers off into the darkness to join the rest of the pack. Thanks for trying. So, anyway, what's that guy like you doing all the way down here? It's complex. You can say that again. I wait, hoping my silence might prod Sandman into volunteering a little more information. No such luck, though. I don't think I've ever seen that many monitors in one place before. A personal project. If Sandman ever took up poker, the gambling world would be a whole heap of trouble. I've seen statues with more readable expressions. Did you have anything else planned for this evening, then? Yes. Dare I hope. And what's that? A visitor. For work. Well, if they're going to be a while, maybe we could order some food, or... No, he should be here soon. The tone of Sandman's voice makes it pretty clear he's not open to debate on this one. So much for that idea. Okay, well, I guess I should let you get on with your evening. Thanks for showing me your place, I guess. Yes, thanks for earlier. As I get up to collect my things, Vanera gives me a little yap of acknowledgement from the recesses of the room. Can you find your way back? I should be okay. Take care, Sandman. You too, Diva. I gather up my stuff and hustle for the exit, trying to ignore the dogs staring at me from every half-dark corner in the room. Finding a way back out of the dingy, filthy tunnels takes way longer than I was planning on, but eventually I'm back in the daylight, nightlight, streetlight, whatever. The important part is that I'm not underground anymore. Luckily, I managed to flag down a cab to the club relatively quickly. I re-enter the main room with a sigh. What a ridiculous night this is turning out to be. Things are so pretty hopping, but this evening is going to be going by quickly. Better be smart about the time I have left. Ugh. I don't like either of these options. Alright, I'm gonna roll a d6. If we don't get a person, we're rolling again. Okay, I'm rolling again. I don't want to talk to Shit Parade! His name is Shit Parade! God damn! There's a younger looking guy with a soul patch and a wild pink mohawk set up in a booth on the other end of the club. He's working through a row of beer cans and seems to be having a great time doing so, judging by the grin on his face. I've got a good feeling about this one. He seems like fun. He seems like a shit parade! I'm still trying to figure out an icebreaker as I walk towards his booth, but he's already on it before I can even open my mouth. Come on, no need to be shy. Plenty of room for everyone to hear. Was I seeing things, or were you talking to Fixer just a little while ago? I can't help but cringe at being reminded of that conversation. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. You know him? Sadly, don't take it personally, though. Given a chance, that guy's idea of an ideal date be himself. Despite myself, I chuckle a little, and his grin broadens in response. Finally, somebody normal. I doubt it. I'm Diva. A pleasure. I'm Igor. My friends, however, like to call me Shit Parade. If that's what your friends call you, what your enemies use. Igor laughs. That's a bright, pleasant kind of sound. A sound I wouldn't mind hearing more of. Ew. My character has terrible taste. It's the title of a column I write in the local VR zine. Bad trip reviews, like fucktastrophically bad. Okay. Oh, you're a writer. That triggers another laugh. I do like a guy who doesn't take himself seriously. If you want to be fancy about it, probably more of a on the money to say I work through my inadequacies on paper. The last part is delivered with a knowing wink. Good to know. Though I think I'll stick to Igor, if you don't mind. More power to you. You into VR at all? No. Sure, I like a good sim every now and then, and to bust some stress. Mostly the spa programs. You know Hotstones 3? Can't say I do, but I'll admit my tastes are very singular. Singular in what way? Might be easier to show instead of tell. Ever wanted to broaden your VR horizons a little? That almost sounds like an invitation. Let's see. Evens, because they might be fun. I might be convinced too. In that case, you're in luck. Meet me out front in 10. We're gonna hit a salon. Igor leaves me hanging for a few minutes extra before he finally rolls up. Okay. Oh gosh, I feel like such an idiot. Worse, he's noticed me staring. What's up? Sorry, I didn't actually realize you were disabled. If it makes you feel any better, you can just say you were distracted by my dazzling line of repartee. Works for me. Don't ask people how long they've been in a wheelchair, that's rude. Dazzling, huh? I can also accept effusive or charming. I'm easy like that. Effusive it is then. Right on. Let's get this disaster on the road. Disaster? Before I can question him, Igor's already rolled off towards the parking lot, chuckling to himself. The sleek neon letters above the door identify the shop we've entered as Digital Serenity. Crap, if I'd known we were going to hit up New Cool's salon, I'd have pushed for something else. Can't hurt to see whether place actually lives up to his hype, though. Based on what I'm seeing so far, not so much. Those look highly uncomfortable. I've been to my share of VR salons back home. This one feels more like a bad mini-mall with a cutting edge of technology. For a start, every square inch of the place is soaked in this reddish-pink mood lighting that makes me feel like I'm drowning in my dad's old lava lamp. The only thing more overwhelming than lights is the smell of a cheap, pine-scented air freshener that hangs in the room. The VR stations themselves are rows of glossy loungers, each with its own computer and headset. It's meant to look cool and futuristic, but it mostly makes me think of a dentist office. I settle down and wait for Igor to finish checking us in, trying my best to get comfortable. The loungers might be sleek, but they're anything but ergonomic. Yeah, they look so uncomfortable. At least he's paying. Igor rolls back from the check-in desk with a big 3-ring binder in his hands and a wicked gleam in his eye. Here's a trip catalog. Take a look through, see if anything jumps out at you. I can give you a few picks if you're stuck. And don't worry about the prices. We're all covered for tonight. He smugly flashes a little plastic card emblazoned with a Digital Serenity logo. It looks like an employee ID, but there's something off about it. The name on the card seems familiar too, and a second later I realize that it's No Cool's badge, with a photo booth picture of Igor glued on top of it. Ha! Alright, he stole it. I like him a little bit more. The right thing to do would be to confront Igor about it, but after all the crap No-Cool pulled earlier, I guess the least he can do is spot us for some free trips. I open the binder and take my time flipping through the badly Xerox trip descriptions, conscious of Igor's eyes on me. There's no sign of the kinds of sims I occasionally treat myself back home. No Mystic Grotto or Featherfall, no Wild Snake River. Looks like Stradadians ought prefer a little rougher, with names like Sniffing Glue or Millionaire Orgy or anything to go by. It's pretty much as bad as Dreamscape made it out to be back at the bar. Small wonder she's so frustrated. Having trouble deciding? It's not so much that. Most of the stuff just sounds a little too extreme for my taste. Check towards the back. That's where they keep all the random garbage from the ass end of the Dreamscape BBS. I follow Igor's advice and skip to the end of the binder, where the descriptions start getting shorter and the typos a lot more noticeable. The names aren't exactly grabbing me though. Tundra Truck, My First Trip, Monkey Shock. Here, why don't I pick something to get you warmed up? Thanks, it's kind of a lot to take in. Never fear, I know just the thing. Pierogi! He punches in a 3-digit selection code on my terminal, then unhooks the VR headset and hands it over. Okay, all systems are go. Buckle in and hang onto your hat. Things are about to get crappy and a capital crappy. I pull down the headset and adjust the straps. It's bigger and heavier than the ones at home, but it sits comfortably enough. Oh, don't like that. There's a short pause and the system boots up and begins loading the trip. Oh, this looks like a vaporwave nightmare. The startup sequence wraps, depositing me with the glowing path suspended in the middle of a kind of digital abyss. In the distance, the path snakes into a giant purple sphere, then onto somewhere disappearing into the darkness. My guess is this was supposed to be a mindfulness sim, or one of those fancy exploratory trips my therapist keeps trying to push on me. But after all of Igor's big talk on the way over, I was expecting something a little more impressive. This just looks like somebody's first attempt at VR. Sighing, I take a step forward on the path. Maybe the inside of the sphere will at least be... Oh! I hate it. Before I have a chance to react, the path under my feet starts turning itself inside out, stretching and twisting and straight up exploding around me. Oh god, I hate this so much. I try to step backwards, but any movement only seems to tear the sim world up further. Rainbows pour out of the cracks until all I see is wild colors getting brighter and brighter. Ugh. I don't think I've ever been this glad to see an error message before. What does it say? A problem has been detected. The current program has been shut down to prevent damage to your computer and binaural hardware. Technical information. Synaptic _process _max _available _quads _exceeded blah 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 blah. Please shut down the computer and then disconnect any active binaural devices prior to restarting. Oh god. Oh no. How do I get out of here? Suddenly the trip shuts down, leaving me staring at a blank screen. So, what's the verdict? I can't bring myself to lie. That might have been the worst trip I've ever been on. To my surprise, Igor's grinning from ear to ear. Right? Shitty sims are a dime a dozen, but mystery spheres trips, a whole other ball game. If they ever make a Hall of Fame of uncut VR sockage, it'd be a shoo-in. I mean, how do you manage to F up your virtual objects pointers so badly that you crash both the system and the headset? You've got to work to shit the bed that badly. First time I ran it, I ended up sucking down like half a bottle of vodka afterwards just to make the humming stop. I don't suppose you've got any of that vodka on you? Nah, no can do. They keep a pretty tight leash on outside drinks here. You up for another one then? Charming as Igor might be, I'm not exactly thrilled at the idea of spending the rest of my evening being subjected to crappy VR. Maybe it's time to nudge things into a more intimate direction. What does this thing you see. It says, can I pick the next trip? Okay, one more, but I pick this time. And you're joining me, okay? Sure, have at it. I take my time leafing through the big trip binder, looking for something with a bit of a romantic atmosphere. Nothing too blatant, of course. I don't want to tip my hand yet. I just need a sim that's cozy enough to set the right tone, and then... Oh, this one sounds like it might be nice. Sunset Beach? Who's it by? The Escapist. Dan? Oh boy. All I'm gonna say is don't get your hopes up. Something about the little chuckle at the end of the sentence makes my blood run cold. I wait for the system to boot up, hoping that I've made the right choice. Then again, it's a beach simulation. Seriously, what could possibly go wrong on a VR beach? The trip finally boots up and I find myself standing at the edge of an ocean lit up by a setting sun. The water shimmers in a strange shades of magenta and blue, reflecting the skyscrapers across the bay. It's clearly meant to relax, but none of it feels quite right, like the whole thing was built by somebody who'd never seen an actual ocean before. Yo, Diva, over here! Igor is relaxing by the water's edge, letting the virtual tides lap at his feet. He looks pretty content, all things considered. Gotta say, this is a little easier on the old brain box than Dan's usual fare. It's kinda nice, actually. Don't you dare tell him I said that, though. He'd never live it down. Don't worry, it'll be our little secret. I settle down next to him, taking a moment to just enjoy the calm. So, I was thinking, maybe after this we could grab... In an instant, the seaside is gone, replaced by something. A red, writhing mess of flesh and static, and... What the hell was that? I look around, but whatever that disgusting mess might have been, it's gone now. Sorry, I didn't think... it's fine. One of Dan's trademark bad acid-fueled breakdowns probably just ended up in the trip recorder by accident. Just caught me off guard, that's all. Guess I'm getting rusty in my old age. Old? You? Come on, you're like... The simulation lurches again, and we're back in the middle of the meat ponds and glitched out water. Worse, something's watching us. Something big just behind the horizon. I hear Igor yelp somewhere behind me as a grinning skull breaks through the sim, growing and growing. I frantically hammer at buttons, trying to force the program to quit. One of my desperate key combinations finally shuts the sim down. I can feel a migraine starting to come on, and a bad one from the feel of it. Even Igor seems a little shell-shocked. It's off-putting to see him at a loss for words. You okay? Yeah, that just brought back some bad memories. Guess the original trip data got corrupted when Dan had his accident, and they never bothered to check it. Accident? Ancient history. I don't really want to get into it right now. The long and short of it is that some very bad shit happened to a lot of good mind trippers. Me included. I wasn't always like this. Sure, no problem. Sorry to bring it up. This is awful. All I wanted to do was get a nice romantic mood going. Now everything's turning gloom and doom, and I don't know how to fix it. There's gotta be a sim in this binder that isn't a complete horror show. Gonna let the dice decide, and the dice say, get the fuck out. At this point, it's pretty clear that this entire VR business is a bad call. Better to pull the plug now before my migraine gets any worse. You know, I think I should probably head back. I had a great time, but Igor looks a little crestfallen, but gives me a semi-sympathetic nod. No sweat. And hey, if you're ever in the area again, you can find me around the box most evenings. Stop by and say hi or something. Thanks. After saying my goodbyes to Igor, I managed to flag down a cab and take me back to the club. I would have, if I'm starting to get a migraine, I'm going the fuck home. You know, I'm going to my hotel, I'm taking some aspirin, and I am passing out for the rest of the night. You cannot make me go to a club. After saying bye-bye, By the time the taxi pulls up in front of the icebox, I recovered and ready to mingle again. All the same, I think I'm done with VR for a while. I give the rest of the club a quick check before working my way over to the bar again. There's a little of a commotion I saw at the start of the evening now. Hopefully I haven't completely missed my chance to have a little fun. Thankfully, there's still plenty going on. I head straight for the bar once more, figuring I can grab a drink or two while I plan my next move. I guess we're gonna go talk to Dan. My eyes are drawn back to the thin blonde sitting in the corner all by himself, head buried in a book. Dan, was it? He looks a little isolated and adrift himself. It seems like he'd know what I'm going through. It's settled then. I take a deep breath and walk over to his table. Hi, mind if I join you? He looks up from his book, bewildered. Do I know you? No, I'm new here, I guess. I'm a tourist, actually. I was looking for a fun, wild place to have a drink, and this bar was in all the guides, so you're a trash tourist, then. Trash? Well, that's a bit rude. Sorry, it's just that tourists usually come here looking for horror stories to tell back home, so they show up and pester us just to get a reaction. I thought you were... Oh, no, I'm not here for anything like that. I'm just looking for company. Sorry if I bothered you. Yeah, no, it's fine, really. Have a seat. He hastily puts the book down and shuffles over to give me more space. I have to admit, he looks kind of cute when he's embarrassed. I sit down next to him and give him a reassuring smile. Dan takes a nervous sip of his drink and lowers his eyes. Looks like I picked a shy one. But thanks to Jack's cocktails, I'm more happy to lead the conversation. I'm Diva, by the way. He cautiously shakes my hand. Daniel. So, are you here with anyone? Not really. Well, I came here with a friend, then she stole some of Barfly's cyber arm and ran off with it. Now I'm just killing time until she calls me back and demands a ride home. Killing time by reading. I look over at his book. The title says DIY Detox. As soon as he notices me staring, he stuffs it into his jacket. It's my friend's. So how's the icebox? Having fun? I can tell he's not much for small talk. Sure. Jack seems nice, and his cocktails all have such fun names. Burnt wires, black ice. Have you tried any? He scoffs. Those price tags, no thanks. You're mostly paying for the funny name anyway. Jack doesn't even come up with the names himself. So you're not a fan? The best way to describe the icebox is all style, no substance. At least they tolerate Borgs, but no. I don't usually come here. You can barely hear yourself think with all the awful club music. Never mind carrying on a real conversation. So, what's your go-to place? There's one called Abyss Cafe. My friend hates it, so usually I just go there by myself. But there's live music, cheap drinks, and unlike here, you can smoke inside without causing an industrial accident. Someone I know is playing tonight, too. Sounds like my kind of place. Places where there's open smoke? No. He hesitates for a moment, looking unsure. Would you like to come? Wow, is he asking me out? Let's go. I'm a little caught off guard, but why not? He seems like a sweet guy. A little on the lost side, but who isn't? I'd love to. Let's do this. Great. Let me just talk to someone real quick and then we can get going. I finish my drink and wait for him by the entrance. Dan was right about the icebox. It's way too chaotic for any kind of real intimacy. The music started to get to me and I was looking forward to Dan taking me somewhere cozier. Considering that I have talked to 6 different people and then twice left the scene only to come back to it, I have questions about this person's sanity. He shows up a few minutes later looking a lot more upbeat. His eyes seem brighter and his movements are more relaxed. He must really be looking forward to our date. I smile and take him by the hand. He says nothing, but doesn't pull away either. I'm parked just over there. So, who did you need to talk to? Oh, just my dealer. My stash was running low. His dealer? What a kidder. This person's a fucking idiot. What's so funny? Committed to the bit. Love that. Yeah, the player character is a fucking idiot. The Abyss Cafe is a little more rustic than I expected. The place smells of mold, cigarettes, and stale beer, and the bare brick walls are plastered with old flyers and rude graffiti. But I bite my tongue remembering that Dan said that about trash tourist. No, I'm here to see the good in things and people. After all, what's not to love about this place? The mood lighting, the candles, the cozy sofas with the weird, suspicious stains, and above all, the privacy. I realize we've almost got the entire space to ourselves. Is this why Dan picked it? I can't help but blush at the thought. Shall I get you a coffee? A coffee? At this time of day? Just do it, chick. I'm assuming I am a woman, or female presenting. I glance over the cafe's menu board for alternatives, only to discover that the one item listed is, in fact, coffee. Yeah, I know it's not much of a selection. They lost their alcohol license a few months back. Something to do with illegal poetry nights, but the coffee is good. And besides, I've already got it covered. He opens his jacket, giving me a peek at the beat-up hip flask. Surprise alcohol! Well, as they say, when in Rome, or Unislick. Caramel frappuccino with extra syrup. Black coffee. Great. 2 black coffees coming right up. I pick the cleanest and comfiest looking couch in the back of the room and settle down to wait. Moments later, Dan returns with our cups. Oh, don't you want to sit closer to the stage? I honestly hadn't even noticed the dinky stage with the tiny projector screen on the other end of the room. Right, he mentioned something about that live music earlier. You're gonna miss all the visuals over here. Come on, let's move to the front. Okay. I am the worst person to play this game. to be here. 1, I hate clubs. 2, I don't date people. I hate dating people. 3, I hate live music more than anything in the world when it comes to small enclosed spaces. If there is live music going on, I better be as far away from it as fucking possible. But if I am forced to be closer to it, I quit. Like, I am leaving. Like, you cannot make me stay here. This is the worst for me. This is why I don't play dating sims. This is why I have to have dice to make decisions for me. I reluctantly follow him as we settle down in front of the screen. We spike our coffees with Dan's surprise booze and wait for the show to start. Eventually, a homeless-looking guy wheels out from some equipment and starts wiring it together. I was expecting a guitar, maybe a piano, but none of this stuff even looks like instruments. Whatever it is, his setup must be seriously malfunctioning because moments later, horrible noise starts pouring out of it. I turn to Dan to comment, only to discover he's disappeared while I was watching the setup. Minutes pass and I'm starting to get more and more uncomfortable with the noise. Thankfully, Dan eventually does come back. Maybe I can talk him into leaving this dump? As he sits down, I spot a bit of powder around his nose and realize what's going on. I'm gonna have to touch up his makeup. Oh my god, you're a fucking idiot. The shade is way too fair for him. I wonder if he... small wonder he looks like a corpse. I should say something, but I wouldn't want to hurt his feelings. I mean, it's probably just a goth thing. He is a goth, right? No, you're just a fucking idiot. A moment later, the racket finally stops and I breathe a sigh of relief. Dan leans in and taps me on the shoulder. Hey, check it out. He's about to play my demo. Your demo? Well, sounds exciting. Let's hear it. It's probably worse than before. Yep. Is that his music? No, it's fucking noise. I hate this person so much. The one person that I'm actually okay with now is fucking Shit Parade, who I hated at the beginning, and everybody else seemed whatever. But now, the one person that I would actually consider going back to... No, okay, wrong. None of these people, except for what's-his-face. The fucking hacker. Sandman. Sandman is the only one I would keep out of this entire group. And I hate this. Whatever the fuck this is, I need, this needs to end. Oh god. I'm not gonna even read this. It needs to stop. Yeah, no, I can't do that. Just, fuck. No, I'm gonna go back into that tunnel and find the guy with all the robot dogs, and we're just gonna be friends forever in his small little tunnel with robot dogs. But no. Fuck you, Dan. Against my better judgment, I wait outside for a while to see if he'll at least come out to say goodbye or apologize. But nothing happens. What a waste of an evening. Does it mean I can go back to the hotel? Once I've regained my composure a bit, I hop the first available cab back to the icebox. Why are we going back to the icebox? Why can't we not just go back to the hotel and just sleep? Maybe I can still turn this night around. No, you're not getting laid tonight. Get over it. A number of dancers on the floor continuing to drop off. I get the feeling closing time isn't all too far out. I better think about what I want to do next. Screw it. Let's go to the bar. I return to the bar one last time. Well, maybe crawl is more of an accurate word. After everything that's happened this evening, the only thing I want is another strong cocktail from Jack and the first available cab back to my hotel. That should have been like after the first time you left the bar. There is no going back to the bar after you leave the bar. I don't understand that. Like, do people actually, like, when you leave, do you actually go back? Why? Why? I don't understand. After everything that's happened this evening, okay. But Jack's not his usual spot. Or anywhere else for that matter. Crap. I guess his shift must have ended. The dance floor is almost empty at this point, and the few people still lingering in the booze look about set to pack it in too. So much for my big night out. I'm about to head for the exit when I suddenly spot Jack coming out of one of the employees-only doors. Aw, look at you. He shucked the strange orange uniform from earlier for a vintagey getup and all I can say is yow. Between the form-fitting pants and the fancy waistcoat, he could easily be cover model for some of those cheap airport bookstore quality romance novels I totally don't have 3 shelves of. Hey, Diva, heading out for the night? Yeah, I'm done. I'm just going to go back to my hotel and sleep things off. I take it your evening didn't go exactly as planned? Unless your shift has ended. No? Not really, no. Sorry to hear it. I shrug, trying my best to look composed about it. It's fine, really. Everybody has a bad night every once in a while. He smiles, not the practiced customer-friendly smile he's been giving Icebox patrons all evening, but something warm and real. In that case, why don't you join me for dinner? I know just the place. Sure, let's go. Really? I'd love to, as long as it's not too far out. Oh no, it's not far out at all. In fact, it's right here in this building. Can we leave this building and just not come back? In the icebox? Don't tell me they've had a restaurant tucked away in here this whole time. Then again, that would explain why this place is so freakishly enormous. Maybe I'll get lucky and find out that they've got a secret spa, too. Dog! I got coffee. They were taking too long to relax, so I started making coffee and then they relaxed. So yeah, now I have like maybe 20 minutes of audio I need to cut out. Thanks, dogs. Sure, sounds great. Lead the way, Jack. Of course, let me just check to make sure security's got everybody else out. Jack digs one of the cupboards behind the bar and pulls out the flip phone. He stares at its screen for several seconds with almost comical intensity, then taps a few keys. Then a few more. He's developing a frown that seems to get deeper with every button press. Is everything okay there? Right as rain, just having a little trouble with his phone. Here, let me take a look, old man. He reluctantly hands the phone over. Looks like the keyboard's locked, so what was up with all the button mashing? I unlock it and bring up his messages, then hand the phone back. He looks at me almost reverently. How did you do that? You just select unlock here, then hold down the hash key to unlock it. Right, the hash. The bottom left one. Bottom left is hash. Got it. It's the pound key. It's not a hashtag. It's a pound key. It's a pound key. It's a new phone. Still getting the hang of all the features. Are you like a time traveler? Getting the hang of how buttons work? Okay then. Guess it's been a long day for you too, huh? Oh, you have no idea. He quickly checks his text, then clicks the phone shut and turns back to me. Looks like we're good. Shall we get going? The rooms you've seen so far are just the tip of the iceberg. Or should I say the tip of the icebox? I might just be drunk enough to find this funny, but Jack is on thin ice with that pun. I think it's cute. Wait. God damn it. Usually the lower levels are strictly staff only. We're not big on guests down there. But for you, I could definitely make an exception. Just one last thing. He ducks behind the bar stand again and rummages underneath the counter before pulling up a long black strip of cloth. Sorry to be a pain, but I'm gonna need you to wear this. I am suddenly not okay with Jack. A blindfold. Are you kidding me? I look up at Jack. His gaze is serious but reassuring. I know what it looks like, but some of our back office setup's a little touchy, and we don't want to draw the wrong kind of attention. Was he one of the ones that were in, like, these things? And, like, he just woke up and he was not some kind of weird fucking zombie dude? Nothing personal, but I've got to look out for the rest of the family. I promise I'll bring you back in one piece. The family? What does he mean by that? It's obviously family owned. Duh. The way he's framing it makes it sound an awful like some kind of mob operation. And what could mean just about anything? I'm getting a seriously bad feeling about this. Play along. I nod my approval. Jack walks up to me and gently covers my eyes with the blindfold. Kinky. He then takes my hand, leading me through what I'm guessing is the main dance floor to the heavy-sounding door. After a few twisted flights of stairs and the longest elevator ride of my life, it seems like we finally reached whatever mysterious destination Jack had in mind. Okay, you can take it off now. Lovely! Just fucking lovely. I do as he says and open my eyes. The first thing I see is a cozy table for two with candles, plates, and multiple sets of cutlery, just like you expect in any decent restaurant. And then, the heads. Rows and rows of them lining the walls. Some well preserved, some practically skulls. One of them is like an alien. Actually, like, these are all... I mean, they're just... yeah, but I'm not gonna be too picky. What the hell? Sorry about the backdrop. It's hard finding unoccupied spaces in here. These guys came with the place, and we try not to disturb them. Bad omens and all that. So, they're real? And the bodies in the tanks upstairs? That's right. All of them were live humans once, a long time ago. I was too! He wistfully looks up at the heads, almost as if they knew them personally. He did. This is getting a bit too much to handle. Still, I've got to know. And how did they end up here? Well, now, the icebox wasn't always the icebox, see? Back in the day, they used to call this the BG Lazarev Advanced Low Temperature Laboratory. Lazarev, like Lazarus, like bringing shit back to life that we probably shouldn't. Yeah, like you, Jack. I mean, you could be a mobster for all we know. Look at this little pinky ring. They had scientists carrying out all sorts of experiments on people down here, mostly involving things like cryogenic preservation. Some of these guys were already dead when they got here. Some were willing to give their lives for science, and some didn't have a choice in the matter. Are any of them still alive? Yeah, me. More than you'd think. We've lost a few over the years, but most of the original equipment's still holding up. We try not to advertise that part too much, though. Technically, the gear here is all government property, meaning they could seize it at any time. But anyway, that's ancient history. Now it's just home. Jack seems entirely unfazed by the creepy decor, and the equally disturbing story behind it. Wish I could say the same. Well, enough of that. We must be starving after everything you've been through tonight. God, don't remind me. This whole evening's been embarrassing enough. I mean, what was I thinking with those guys? No need to be embarrassed. For one, I'm glad one can be a bit more adventurous in this day and age compared to how things were in the past. Finally, the food's here. Sure enough, a strange hooded figure slowly approaches our table carrying a gently steaming tray. The shabby robe they're wearing covers almost every visible feature. I can't even tell if there's a man or a woman under all that. Jack sighs audibly. Hey, Alfredo, I thought I told you to smarten up a bit. Don't you see we have a visitor? The figure mumbles something back. I struggle to make out the words or the language. Okay, I'll give you one more notice next time. Let's just get things served up now. Alfredo staggers closer to the table and starts setting out our meal. Disturbing as the as the ambiance might be, the food itself looks and smells delicious. It's pasta with plenty of greens and garlic bread on the side. But my eyes keep darting back to Alfredo. His movements are slow and shaky. Every motion seems to take genuine effort. I happen to get a quick glance at his hand as he passes me my plate. The skin is so translucent, I can almost see the bones. And his fingers, pitch black nails nearly falling off. I can't help but recoil at the sight. Is he okay? Hey, care for some wine? Alfredo just restocked our cellar. I can have him bring over a few bottles for tasting. That triggers more disapproving grumbles from the looming figure. Sure. Why not? Wine sounds great, because we're gonna mix all of our alcohol today. Jack sighs as he watches the robed man shamble off to fetch more drinks. Poor guy. He's still acting like it's the Prohibition. Yeah, Jack is a man at a time. Of course, back then we were mixing the stuff from fermented grape jelly. You can't get a wine that nice unless you knew the right priest, or, you should probably start eating before things get too cold. Back then. Jack looked like he's in his late 20s, early 30s at most. How could he possibly? Man out of time! He was cryogenically frozen! Oh, hope you're okay with vegetarian cuisine. You tend to lose your taste for meat after you've hosed down your third or fourth cryopod. Oh, I get it. But I'm sure Alfredo's got some chicken stashed away somewhere if you'd rather... Oh, no, Jack, it's okay. Pasta's great. No, I've got to ask, or this won't stop bugging me. This might sound ridiculous, but I have to ask you a question something. Shoot. How old are you? Perfectly reasonable question to ask. I'm 28, or I was at the time when I was cryogenically frozen. Really? You seem older. Ugh, that came out less polite than I hoped. Jack stirs in his seat, but doesn't budge. Well, you've seen Stradania. Living here tends to take a toll on people, though personally I'd like to think I'm still in pretty good shape. Or am I wrong? No, you look great. It's not that. You just act old. I mean, you can't even work a flip phone. You're talking about the Prohibition like it was yesterday. And that outfit. We all have our quirks. Me, I just happen to be a bit of a history buff. For a second I thought I was going to get a straight answer out of him, but now that he has regained his composure, it's back to smiles and evasion. I'm not buying it. Not after seeing Alfredo's hand. Definitely not after all the other slip-ups. All I need is to find a way to put him on the spot. Okay. Next question. Let's turn up the heat a little. Literally. Who's the current president of the United States? What's your favorite band? What's your email address? Oh, these are all good questions. Hold on, where's my phone? Shit. There it is. So, did I leave it in the other room? No, I need my dice. Alright. I think we're gonna get a chance to answer or ask all of these. I hope we're gonna get a chance to ask all these questions because these are all fantastic. 2. This one. Name the U.S. president. What's this? A current affairs quiz? Fine. Bill Clinton. I do read the papers, you know. How about in 1920? Easy. Woodrow Wilson. You answered that one awfully quickly. Well, sure. History buff, remember? Anything else you'd like to drill me on while you're at it? Current Pope, Secretary General of the League, United Nations. Tempted as I am to try another questioning, Jack's clearly on his guard now, and the smell of the pasta is getting more and more difficult to ignore, especially since I've been running on nothing but cocktails all night. Floating heads and creepy zombie cultist waiters aside, this is about the nicest thing I've had since stepping off the plane. Probably better to leave things as before. I start spoiling the mood. Besides, I might have an easier time once he's had a few more glasses of wine. No further questions, Your Honor. Damn. Great. Let's tuck in before things get too cold, then. Wouldn't want to upset poor Alfredo after all the time he spent in the kitchen. I can't help but wince at the thought of that creepy hooded figure in front of a counter trying to pull together a meal. I'll say this for him, though. He makes a mean pesto. How is everything? Good. Real good. Your friend's got a knack for cooking. Just one of his many skills. I don't know what to do without him, truth be told. So, how long have you been working here? My whole life. The icebox. I helped start the place, actually. I had a bit of a prior experience running bars, see... You are totally mafia. Nothing nearly as fancy as this, mind you. And you kept the test subjects? We do our best to keep them going until somebody can figure out a way to revive them safely. The income from the club helps pay for maintenance and the occasional checkup. They're like family, really. So that's what he was talking about earlier. Some family. You could do a lot worse, believe you me. By now we're reaching the end of our meal, and Jack's getting a distinctly puckish look in his eyes. Hi! I don't know if I would call that puckish. So, what do you say we burn off some of those calories? He levels the question just as I start drinking my wine, and it takes real effort not to just do a spit take then and there. But burn off? Sure, I thought you may up for a little bit of dancing. There's no way that wasn't deliberate. It's a good thing he's charming. Dancing? Sure, I watch people dance all night, and yet at the end of my shift, there's no one left for me to dance with. I can't be the only person he's used that line on. But after a good meal and a couple of glasses of very decent wine, I'm more than happy to play along. Gonna be honest with you, I'm not much of a dancer. You're not making me do the Charleston, are you? Not after a 10-hour shift, so don't fret. Let's go with something simpler. With that, he reaches into the waistband of his pants, pulls out a revolver, and casually places it on the table. What? We're doing Russian roulette now? Wait. He's been carrying that the whole time? He is a mafia man. He's a mafia man who was cryogenically frozen, and now he's awake. Wouldn't want this to get in the way, would we? Sorry, old habits and that. While I frantically try to at least remember some basic moves from my salsa class, Jack reaches behind one of the cylinders and pulls out a gaudy-looking CD boombox, then stares at the buttons like there's some kind of next-level logic puzzle. Poor guy. Figures, right? Just as I'm starting to get the hang of vinyl, they have to go and invent something other some other damn thing. Need any help? If you don't mind. It's nice to have an upper hand for once. I switch on the player as Jack carefully observes my movements. So which track do you want? Let's go with number 3. A sweet jazzy tune starts playing. It's the kind of song that would be great for slow dancing, if I had any slow dancing experience whatsoever. Well, too late to back down now. Don't you worry about a thing. What the fuck is this? I'll lead, you follow. Easiest thing in the world. And with that, he puts his hand on my waist and pulls me closer. I'm having a hard enough time staying on my feet, and having Jack's face just inches from my own isn't making me feel any more steady. But he's got grace enough for both of us, and he confidently leads me across the room, weaving and dodging past the tables around us without even breaking a sweat. I do my best to keep up, or at least not step on his feet. And twirl. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. He sends me spinning, leaving me trying my best to look graceful and not might break my arm in the process. What is this? This looks like either like that, because he has one here too. I'm wondering if like he's like a Frankenstein. You know, like he's been stitched together, and like underneath all of this is just like different stuff, or yeah. Good, you're getting the hang of it. Again! He's really making me work for this dinner. I do a slightly more gracious turn this time, landing straight in his arms, and with that, he tips so low that I have no choice but to instinctively grab onto him. Ooh, was that too much? He sounds far too pleased with himself. Apologies, it's been a while since I've had this much fun. He steps gradually slow. I realize I'm still holding on to him for dear life, but I'm not about to let go. Hey, Diva. Yes, Jack? You don't mind how this night turned out, do you? I look at Jack, all too aware that I'm still a little red-faced after our lap around the dining room. But we both know the answer to that question. So I lean in and kiss him until we're both out of breath. I don't think this night could have turned out any better. I mean, there are several moments where it could have. Where it could have just... The decision could have been, go home. Get on a plane and just go home. So glad to hear it. Because I don't feel like letting you go just yet. Now, how about we find a room with slightly fewer eyeballs? Are you going to blindfold me again? Of course. If you ask me nicely. Did I win? Well, that was Dates and Wires. Out of all the dating sims that I've played, I think this was actually kind of fun. Like, this was... the characters are really interesting. I feel like there's a way to get to know all of them in different ways, you know? Man, I am not upset by how that ended. I really do want to know more about Jack and his mafia connections. Because that boy. 3 of these guys I completely just... we can do without. Specifically this one. Anybody who is involved in multi-level marketing, out. No. Immediate no, deal breaker, out. This child is broken and desperately needs therapy. This kid's okay, even though his name is fucking Shit Parade. Like, he grew on me, mostly because he stole from this guy, and that makes me endear. Like, when you steal from a piece of shit, you're less of a shit parade, you know? But yeah, this one needs therapy. This one also needs therapy, but he likes dogs. And this one, I don't give a shit about at all. Like, nothing about him makes him interesting to me, but you are unnecessary, but I enjoyed your story. Like, I really want to know more about these guys. Maybe not in a dating sim way. Like, I want there to be, like, a story where it's, like, a why choose kind of situation where the character, like, actually gets involved with everybody except for this guy. Like, we're just gonna ignore that he exists at all. And then these 5 are the ones that we actually, like, get to know. And maybe this one will fix himself with therapy. Like, you need therapy, small child. Therapy child. This is the therapy child. They all need therapy. You were cryogenically frozen and you belong to the mafia. So, yeah. That was fun. That was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I don't do dating sims because it just hurts me sometimes. Our main character, or our player character, was an idiot. I didn't even know what drugs were. I'm too asexual for dating sims, y'all. I really am. But yeah, this was really interesting. I really did enjoy this, and I hope y'all enjoyed it too. So thank you for joining me, and I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me as I played Dates and Wires by IO Black and Cryo. The next episode will be out shortly. If you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, a follow, and ring that notification bell so you know when a new episode drops. Also, don't forget to check out the link to the completely free Discord server to chat about games and whatever else is on your mind. Let's keep the comments chill so no hate or spoilers, as I'm not above removing those comments from the people who make them. That's all for now, folks. And I'll see you next time.